Bonjour tout le monde. Aujourd'hui, nous allons parler du chapitre 9, grammaire 1, dans le centre-ville. So in the first half of this chapter, we've been learning to plan your day and ask for and give directions. In the second half, we're going to be learning to ask for information and make requests. Today specifically, we're going to work with some grammar, and we're looking at the verbs savoir and connaître. So the verbs savoir and connaître both mean to know, and they're both irregular. However, we use them in two very different cases. Savoir is used for more specific concrete knowledge, things that you can prove, factual knowledge. Whereas connaître is more general knowledge, something that you're maybe familiar with, but you don't know factually. Okay, so let's start with savoir. So we said that means to know. So let's go over the forms of savoir. So we have je, sais, tu, sais, il, elle, on, sait, nous savons, vous savez, il, elle, savent. Remember, we don't pronounce that ENT. Okay, so we said savoir means to know. Specifically, the four different cases that I want you to know are information, a fact, how to do something, and then number 4 will be what's in parentheses, locations. So a note, the trigger word for locations is où, meaning where. So in the past we've used où se trouve, where can I find, où est, where is. So when you see this où word, it means we're referring to where something is or a location. So 2 examples to write down. Je sais la date, I know the date. You can prove the date, you can show it on the calendar. The date doesn't change, it's factual information. And il sait faire du ski, he knows how to ski. So these are the specific details for savoir. Okay, pause if you've not finished. Alright, connaître also means to know, but we said this is going to be the more familiar information. So the forms of connaître are je connais, tu connais, il, elle, on connaît, nous connaissons, vous connaissez, and il, elle connaissent. Again, we don't pronounce that ENT. So this verb form is going to look a little bit familiar. So if you notice, the endings look a lot like the regular IR endings. So if we start with the CONNA, and we draw a line, it looks a lot like your regular IR endings. So IS, ISIT, ISSONS, ISSEZ, and ISSENT. However, make sure on that IT you put your accent circumflex. That it has to, the little caret has to be over the I. Okay. Alright, let's get rid of that. Okay. So, connaître we said means to know, but it's more familiar. So the 2 cases that you're going to use connaître with are with people or places in general. So, people, you never really know a person factually. You know a lot about them, you're familiar with them, but you don't know them factually. You don't know their every thought, inner desire. You don't know them on a factual basis, just a familiarity. Same thing with places. So if I'm talking about France in general, I'm very familiar with France. I've been there several times. I know where things are. I know a lot about it. But you don't know a place factually. The only time you can know a place factually is if you're dealing with its specific location. And remember, with locations, we're looking for that trigger word où. So I can give you a street address. That address is factual. The location of it is factual. But the place itself, you only know familiarly. Okay? Alright. So, in the past tense, the past participle of savoir changes to su. So it's irregular. The whole word changes. And connaître in the past tense changes to connu. So when you use it in the past tense, the verbs take on a slightly different meaning. So, j'ai su la date hier. I found out the date yesterday. So in the past tense, savoir means to have found out. Connaître, on the other hand, j'ai connu Luc le mois dernier. I met Luke for the first time. So that one really doesn't look or sound at all like what it is in the present tense. So you do need to know the meaning of these verbs in the past tense as well. So remember, savoir in past tense means to have found out. Connaître in the past tense means to have met. All right. Well, that is all I need you to know for today. So pause, rewind, review as needed. Jot down any questions you have, and we'll go much more into depth in this in class when we get back together. All right. So for tonight, bonne nuit tout le monde.